All right, jumping in here. Match starts in a few minutes. Um, Supposed to start at 1, but they got started a little earlier, it looks like. So it is 1-0 Billy. Looks like it's Shucheng's rack and break. So Billy must have won the lag. So we'll get going up to speed here in a sec. Earlier, this table wasn't breaking the best with a soft style break. They're having to really power through it. So we'll see what these guys come up with here. Pretty good break right there without having to hit it with a bunch of speed. So not bad. The last match with Aaron Rodgers and Daniel Sardan-Cilio were they were struggling with the break, so they had to start really putting some power to it. But Shucheng looks like he just hit it with a little bit more control, a softer break, and had a great break here. So good opening shot at the 1. Came a little short on the 2, but not tough. Do a little pinch draw and hopefully get out in this area here for he'll shoot the 3 next. Looks like they're just going to the first one to the 5 is going to win this one, it looks like. Welcome in, Rich. So I'm Josh Anderson. Looks like Rich Fair's got on to join me here in the commentating.
Yeah, I'm here now. Definitely going to be an early 9 in this situation. I know it's a little on the obvious side, but doesn't have to do much here on the 4. Just come off the rail a little bit, and then that'll give him the easy combo to get his first game.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't really hit the balls too soft usually. He wants to play with speed. But he hit that almost like he was trying to play to this side of the table for the 5.
Yeah, it's a little odd just because the 6 to the 8, even on an open table like this, could be tricky, especially since he ended up, with a slight angle on the 6. If he had more angle than going 3 rails around back towards about where he is now would be okay.
Yeah, and the thing about it is no matter which side he gets on the 8, he can win the game, whether he pockets the 8 then the 9 or plays the early 9. But I just think it was probably a little easier to play that 5-9 earlier. But it's not going to matter here. He's going to bring the score 1-1 here, it looks like.
Yeah, he drew off that 6 ball nicely to give him perfect shape.
So CHAO here, his Fargo is 650. Last time I seen him, probably a month and a half ago, was that 650 and under tournament at Ox Billiards, where he ended up finishing second to Chandler Dikatau. So he can definitely play. And he, like I said, he had a nice out there. Had a great break that really helped.
Yeah, I've never heard of Billy before. Never seen him before, but you don't get into this tournament if you can't play some.
Yeah, and it looks like Billy's 617 Fargo from Gardnerville, Nevada. So
okay.
Looks like he came this way to play in this tournament. Traveled a long ways, so he's going to definitely give it his all every chance he gets here. I mean, everybody is, but he didn't come here planning on losing, that's for sure.
So on this shot here, I would be looking to go 3 rails out. You got to use a little bit more top than right, just so it comes out longer this way, so you can avoid the 7 ball. And that right there is why I don't like playing the low left draw, because that side pocket gets really big.
Yeah, for sure. Looked like he was starting to give himself a backwards angle here, but looks like shape's going to be easier if you give yourself this angle to come off the rail and come down this direction. And the 5 plays in this side here too, so if he comes up a little short here, he can play that. You can play that 4. I got a little funny there. I was gonna say, if he comes up in this area a little bit back, he could play the 4 and bring the cue ball off like this. But he's gonna have to cheat the pocket now to be able to get that angle. He doesn't want to cheat it to the right because he's gonna run into the 9 ball. So he's gonna try cheating this. And this, when you're cheating this ball, it's close enough to the pocket to where it's not too difficult, but it is something that becomes a little missable at that point.
Well, it looked like he was looking and thinking the same thing you were. He just ended up over-rolling that. But he's eyeballing a cut to the side.
He could also play a little safety too if he wanted to. Play this 5 past the 6 nice and easy with just a little bit of a draw stroke to draw over into the 9 and leave the cue ball right here behind the 6. I would go offensive here. Seems like that's probably the easier shot, but he has options.
He hit that really well. But yeah, I agree. You got a tough offensive shot, a tough defensive shot. If you play the odds, the percentages, their difficulty is about even. So you might as well go for the shot. Now he left himself a shot with the angle to kind of roll up into here. I mean, he could go all the way up and back down. I don't know if he's going to hit it that hard.
Yeah, you don't really want to hit him with too much speed. Just pocket this ball. You don't want to hit it soft. It's a good medium stroke. He missed the ball, but one of the reasons I don't like to hit it too hard is because the pockets are less forgiving when you're hitting him with speed.
Yeah,
so hitting him with that medium stroke there, he could actually it makes the pocket bigger. He could rub the rail a little bit, still make it in there, but he missed it by a ball length here. So
yeah, and this back bank here, that gives natural shape to the 7. It's going to come around like that.
Well, he banked it short.
He did bank it short and left a nice shot. And the cue ball's off the rail a little bit, so that will allow for playing draw. Give himself a nice workable angle. So now there's 2 ways to do this. You can just come straight across this way and play the 9 in the same pocket, or you can put a little top left, come around kind of this way and play the 9 over here. It looks like he's opting for the 1 rail. He did and got the nice bump. He offered the hand wave to the opponent. So I do believe he's going to pocket this and take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I think he probably just hit that 7 ball with center high, which is kind of makes it easiest to pocket balls off the rail like that. But it does make the cue ball carry towards that 9 like it did. instead of hitting with like a little bit of high right and coming straight back and forth. But either way, he got a good bump there on the 9 and got the game. So he takes a 2-1 lead here for CHAO, and he gets the break too. And after his last break, he has a great break so far with this table. So we'll see if he can replicate that here. Well, it looks like CHAO actually lost the cue ball on this break. Made balls, but doesn't look like he has a shot at the 1. If he does, it's a thin back cut, so he'll probably be looking at a push here.
Well, he might be able to see the edge. Looks like he could see this part of it, in which case he could just bank the 1 like this and take the cue ball back down.
Yeah.
Distance.
It looks like he's
going the other way, so it must be a push.
Yeah. I think he's going to give him a shot at this ball. Give him an opportunity to play that same safety if he wants.
Yes, I think I thought he could see a piece of the 1, in which case safety would have been the play, but because he couldn't, or he didn't like it, either or, he opted for the push, and Billy now has the option to. Well, I'm surprised he played it this way. Little unfortunate rub there to put the 1 ball right in front of the pocket, but he did play to get the distance, which distance between the cue ball and object ball, even if they can see is typically going to be your friend, unless it sits in front of a pocket like this, where it's pretty much a shoe-in make. But I think I would have just thinned it and took the cue ball down versus kicking it from behind.
And he leaves CHAO an opportunity here, unfortunately, and the 2 does pass the 4 into the corner. So, with how he shoots, I'm going to favor him to actually get out here. He's just going to do a little stun draw, probably the cue ball in this area. Depends on how much angle he has. He can bring it to the rail and back out.
Yeah.
He wants to leave himself, even if he leaves himself straight, but he just doesn't want to leave himself. Yeah, he wants to leave himself on this side of the 4 for sure. I was going to say he doesn't want to leave himself, come across and leave himself over here because the shape to the 5 gets more difficult. But now he can cut this ball in pretty easy. A little bit of left-hand English and bring it back over here. Not even much. He just got to avoid that side pocket, and he also doesn't want to come too far down table here. Because then he's going to have to put a little bit of work in from the 5 to the 7.
Yeah, considering where he's sitting right now, he does have lots of options, and that's what you like. But make sure you make a decision on what you're going to do before you go down on the shot, so you're not thinking while you're down there.
He tried to cut it in and tried to avoid that 7, and he hit it just a little thick and missed it. I think if he would have overcut it a little bit thin, coming at that direction, that little bit of friction you catch on the 4 is going to carry it to that pocket. So I think he would have had a better chance of making it and still missing the 7 ball. But Billy makes a great positional shot there. Could have definitely overhit that and been hooked by the 7, but instead he's kind of perfect on this.
Yeah, he hit that with a really nice speed, and now he just got to figure out where he wants to be to shoot the 7, and either be straight on it or follow it down to the short side, which would be this area, or leave himself an angle to play off into this area, which is a little more risky due to the fact that 9 is there, and you could end up coming off that rail and hooking yourself. But looks like he's made his decision to play that little angle. So I think he might actually be looking to come in here, or maybe even just come off the rail and punch out like into this area.
Yeah, I was going to say he can probably just keep it a little simpler. Nope, he did go down. He can easily get around that 9, but he hit it pretty good.
Yeah, he did, because that, a little bit more of that bottom rail, then he's on the wrong side, and then on the other side of the 9 ball and hooked. But he hit that perfect, and now he's going to pocket this 9 ball to tie the match at 2 apiece.
See, there's a few people in the stream here. Should let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Got these 2 players fighting it out in the Don Weir Memorial here. It's playing at the Golden Fleece here in the Pacific Northwest. It's one of the great pool halls we have. We have a few, and this is one of them. He put a little bit of high English on that ball. He made a ball, but doesn't have a clear shot at the 1, so it looks like he's going to be pushing again. And I didn't see his other breaks. See what he was doing with the cue ball, but I would assume that high English he put on there was probably a little bit of a miss hit on his end, missing his spot. So I doubt he wanted to play forward like that. And it looks like he probably came up short on this.
Yeah, so I was suspect he's getting this back.
Yep.
Wow.
CHAO should have walked up there and took a better look at that. It was makeable, but, he played it with some speed and ended up hooking himself on the 2, so he's probably going to have to grab shorty here.
Yeah, he shot that rather quickly also. He made a great shot by pocketing it, but, didn't consider where he was going to be playing shape to. A little unfortunate that he hooked himself and now has a jump shot. But I think he was his initial idea of where to push was to maybe get it back and play that exact same shot.
Yeah. This is our first peek at a jump cue in this match. Like to see how good he jumps. He did have to go take it out of the bag, so he didn't have it out and ready. And he jumped over the 2. And I always tell people that if you don't have it out of the bag and ready to use it if you need it, then you shouldn't be able to use it. Just my philosophy, you're playing rotation pool, and you got to expect you're going to need to jump because of your opponent hooking you or you hooking yourself. But some people just like to pull out the bare necessities unless they need to, and then go back to the case. I'm an accessories guy. I like to pull everything out. Make sure I have my extension, everything ready for me. So CHAO came up short. He wanted to roll forward a little bit more and be in this area here, so that he had a back cut to that pocket, and the cue ball would automatically travel this way. So he's going to have to put in some work here. He hits it really good. He was on the wrong side, but definitely manageable.
Yeah, he made that work nicely. Has a little bit of an angle to work with to get on the 6. Now, just a comment about Billy's jumping there. I was watching his setup, and Granted, I don't have the best view of it, but it seemed to me like he's aiming a little high on the cue ball, um, which, so I'm assuming he has difficulty when the object ball he's trying to jump over is close. That's just my guess, just from watching that one jump shot. But typically, by his aiming point, if that's where he aims all the time, then I can see the problems that are associated with that. And so he had to hit it more firmly to get airborne, which ultimately made him jump farther and jump over the tube.
Yeah, I get that. Makes sense to me. I'm going to definitely default to you when it comes to the jumping, because you're a great
here,
jumper.
I got the cue ball out here, and just if you were looking from the side, if you're looking from the side, then I would. For some reason, the English ball dot's not wanting to move. Let me try it again here. Same thing. So for me, if you're looking from this angle at it, then you want to jump more as a target here, just above the center line, or at the center line. And he appeared to be jumping more up here, which why I say you would struggle when you're jumping close is because the cue ball can't go airborne right away. It has to go forward a little bit to get out from under the tip, and then in doing so, typically will clip that object ball when they're close. But it also takes more power to get airborne.
Yeah, to cut you off here,
kind of what I witnessed there.
CHAO just made a really good out to take the lead 3-2. So it looks like these guys might be one of those matches where it's going back and forth. We haven't had one of those yet today. Our first couple matches were fairly lopsided, but these guys might be going tit for tat, it looks like.
Yeah, both guys can definitely play. I think
when it comes to jumping, I'm definitely defaulting to you. You're a great jumper. Even now, after you've had your stroke, you still jump better than I do, which is frustrating to say the least on my side, but pretty awesome for you. You've got the mechanics down, and you've always been a really, really good jumper. So anytime I see stuff like that, I kind of always default to you, and oftentimes we'll kind of lean on you a little bit to find out why and how it can be fixed. So,
well, I appreciate you saying that. And one of the weird things for me is even when I'm not playing pool, I have a tendency to think about these kind of things, and kind of break it down in my head, scratch down some notes, and then when I head, because I don't have a pool table at home, so when I go play, then I try those things that I come up with and figure some things out.
Yeah, so CHAO had a really good break, fairly decent ball control, but he made the 1 and the 2, and unfortunately for him, the 7 kind of tied up onto the cue ball, so he doesn't have a shot at the 3. So he's looking at pushing. Looks like he's looking at giving Billy a shot at the ball, but going to make it as difficult on him as possible with difficult shape too. It's always, you're always at a disadvantage when you're having to push. Your opponent always has the option of taking it or giving it back, and it's never good when the control is in your opponent's.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to get that one back.
Yep.
And he did. I can't blame Billy at all for letting him shoot this, considering I think he might have been trying to get into this window here and leaving a much longer shot on the 3 with the cue ball on the rail, but ended up giving it a little bit more juice, and so it got the bounce and hook behind the 4.
Yeah, maybe. Just watching.
Everything considered in that layout and everything, he hit that pretty decently and was rewarded with leaving a difficult shot in which Billy can opt for a safety here or play the back bank. If he plays the back bank, then there's shape. Looks like he might be trying for the 6 maybe. Yep. And that is not the shot I would have went for, just because you just don't know how. There's too many balls you're trying to control.
Yeah, and you're kind of shooting that, not knowing where the 3 is going to lay out,
right.
where the cue ball is going to finish. So you're going for that aggressive shot and hoping that you'll be able to see the 3 afterwards. So there's not a ton of control there.
Yeah, I would have definitely went the back bank route with the 3 rail natural shape coming out around the 4 like that.
But it looks like he got really fortunate. It was actually in the window there.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good. I didn't think he could see it, but apparently he could. And now he can go 2 rails and come out this way for the 5, or he can just go 1 rail. I mean, it's all preference. For me, I like the 2 rail, but I'm just one guy.
Yeah, I like the 2 rail as well. I feel like shape to the 7 is easier when you're coming off this direction. But he's got a good here to force
in
back
that same position now. Overhit that, came in a little too hot. Got a thin cut on the 7, which if he just focuses on the shot, then the cue ball will take that same pattern where it just runs back and forth. But going 2 rails would have gave him a much more forgiving angle.
Yeah.
Oh,
gonna lose the cue ball.
Yeah, that's the downside of just letting it run all over the place. And Billy concedes that game. Rightfully so, I guess, because CHAO would have had ball in hand with the 8 and 9, both in relatively simple positions, so he definitely would have got out. But, I'm not one to concede, so I'd just let him shoot it because you just never know.
Yep, for sure. I've seen crazy things happen.
Yeah, someone could easily just miscue right there too. I've done it myself.
Well, I was in a tournament in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, at Patty's there, and playing 8-ball, and my opponent had the 8-ball right here and the cue ball right here on the 8, and he's a 625 Fargo, and he rattled the 8, left it sitting. So you never know. And it affected him for the rest of the match too, because he was so frustrated with himself and so upset with himself. He started struggling from that point forward. So I don't ever concede either. And the other thing is it can also become a sharking thing, because if you keep you concede these games, and then you turn around and make your opponent shoot, the last one when they're on the hill or something, it's like, well, why aren't you conceding this one? You've conceded all these other ones. You've taken his right away from being able to shoot the money ball until the pressure's on, and then you're forcing him to shoot it. So lots of different ways of looking at it. CHAO plays a really good safety there. I think the only option he's going to have is to come off this side rail. Problem is if he hits the 1 ball anywhere in here, it's scratching. Yeah, he clipped that 9 trying to play by it.
It kind of looked like he knew he had to bend it a little bit and load up on spin to boot, and kind of tried to steer that. So you see his cue didn't stay in a straight line through the stroke. You saw it. What's commonly known as a chicken wing, when the elbow comes out away from the body. And that going through the shot is basically just trying to steer his English. And that rarely ever bodes well for you. And in this case, it fouled and give ball in hand to his opponent, which, fortunately that 3 ball's tied up, so it's definitely going to have to be addressed. And he may be addressing it right now. Might be looking to rub on the 5 or something. The 5-3 could be wired as well, so he may be playing this 2-5-3. You got plenty of options here. You can play a safety as well. Park the 2 ball off the side rail next to the 6. But I think he's going to be shooting. So they were kind of wired up, and he knew he needed to get to the other side of the table for shape. Not that he has a real good shot or anything here, but he can play a pretty good safety. Just depends on what he opts to try to do here. The best thing would be to not try to do too much. Just looks like he might be kicking, sending the, just trying to create distance. Well, I don't know. I think Billy might be able to see the edge of the two, and if he can, the cue ball is going to be going up table. If he'd maybe taken a second to take a look at that, he might have seen a better angle to work at. But instead, he rubbed the 7, which put the cue ball to the center, which he can see every bit of it.
Oh, there's big error there by CHAO. He had an opportunity there to lock him down on the other side of that 6 ball, but he clipped the 6, and now Billy's going to have a chance here. He just has to shoot this and make it with some like left-hand English, and he went for a safety. That was a good shot.
Yeah, he played that really nice, and it ended up in a very tough spot. But yeah, that and the position he's in right now is because of his failed safety attempt on the 2. Ended up hitting it too short and letting Billy see every bit of it. Yeah, I think that one rail you're drawing up is about his best option.
Yeah.
Now, some may think they can jump right here, but because of the closeness of the cue ball to the 6, jumping is difficult without grazing the 6 ball after contact.
Yeah, he kicked a little shorter than my line here, which brought him to this side of the 2. It was a tough kick. It's tough to gauge those 1 rails sometimes when you're kicking down table.
Well, he definitely wants to get to the 4 somewhere like where he is right now with the cue ball. Granted, he's got to pocket the 2 first, so you just got to play position into here so that he can play the 4 on the side and then bring the cue ball out this way for the 5-6 combo. To keep it as basic as possible. You don't want to overthink this and try to get too fancy.
Yeah, because I feel like he might be trying to figure out how to get down into here, and I think that
would be a big mistake to try that. Even if you pull it off, but that would just be lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he gave himself a chance here with some left-hand English. He can come off the rail and spin it back down over here for a decent shot at this. He might be looking at a crossbank too.
Yeah, that would bring him down in that area over here. But once again, that's just very difficult to control.
Well, he'll hit it with speed, I bet, though, if he hits it. Oh, no. He's playing safe.
That's not terrible, but I just think that playing the 4 into this side and playing offensive, is a better shot.
Well, and the 5 will be back cutting the 6, and that might be what he's looking at. Is it's going to back cut, come off, and then depending where it goes, and it's going to be tough to play shape to maybe. But I agree. I think the offensive approach would have been way better there. Wouldn't be saying that though if he'd got him tucked in here really tight.
Yeah, true.
CHAO may have overhit this. I mean, he might be looking at having to play the carom. Looks like the bank's on. Pretty standard too. But yeah, he's looking at that carom shot, which will bring the 5 down here, and the cue ball will stop right in here and leave himself a shot to make that 5. Depending on what he has, though, it might be difficult to get to the...
Yeah, it'll be tough to roll that soft enough to hold the cue ball and the 5 ball.
He hit it with speed. Good thing he hit it with that much speed. That 5 go, and he got perfect on the 7.
Yeah, he did. That was...
Seen him give the wave, so...
But you know what? He played the offensive shot, and so luck favored the aggressor
Yeah, and he hit it good. He just got
did.
rewarded.
He did. He did get rewarded for that nice shot.
Gonna leave himself straight and on the rail. He's got a little bit of angle, maybe.
Yeah, this one will be tough to try to 2-rail out or anything.
Yeah, I think you
best
just make it.
Although it looks like he's going to try to force follow 2 rails.
Yeah,
which he was able to. He didn't have to power it. He wasn't looking to get close to the 9. He was just looking to get to the middle, which he did.
Well, and these are 7-foot diamonds too, and CHAO plays a lot on the 9-footer, so this is a pretty standard distance on a 9-footer. It's a good shot. It's a good out. Taking the lead 5-2, separating a little bit more here.
Yeah, he definitely earned the win on that one.
And it's his break. So lots of things going for him there. Yeah, he made a great shot on that carom because he had to hit it with speed. He knew the 5 was going to be coming out to this end of the table somewhere, and he didn't want the cue ball to be stuck in there. So he hit it with speed, make sure the cue ball got out here, and he just happened to fall in line with that 7 after the 5 flute. So that was fortunate, but like you said, luck favors the aggressor.
Yeah, that's one of those too. When makes the 5 and the 6 get shape on the 7, Billy's got to probably hang his head a little bit, a little disheartening.
Yeah, a little
knowing that he probably just lost that game, and he did.
Yeah, makes it worse when your opponent's playing good, hitting the balls good, and he's ahead in the match. And then when he gets a roll, it's like, really? Man, he's playing way too good to be getting rolls, but it happens. See, he stunned that cue ball back. Got a little unfortunate kick there, but he's going to have an open shot here. Going to have a fairly open table. He just got to come with a good shot right here.
Yeah, this first shot's going to be everything because you got to. My guess is he's going to want to draw it back a little bit, somewhere into this range or more to have a nice look at the 2. The 3 doesn't look to pass the 9, so he'll have to either play the carom on the 9 or, adjust those around.
We might even have some angle to stun it this way, too. It's hard to tell. Oh, he did.
Well,
he did have a little.
And that was a great shot, playing that particular window, rolling into the line of the 2. That was a
and if he would, if he would have hit that with like a high ball, it would have ran into this 4 down here. Or even if he hits it softer, but he just hit it with a flat center ball and stunned it, which automatically gave it that deflection to come around it. But unfortunately, after making a great shot there, he ends up missing a fairly routine shot on the 2 and hanging it and giving Billy a chance here.
Yeah, he was playing shape for the carom on the 9 and got there perfectly, but he failed the important part, which was to pocket the ball.
So
now I think Billy might be trying to do the same here.
See, I like what Billy was doing there because some people will try to draw that, which you don't have to do. It's in the pocket, so you can play that with some left-hand English and come off and come this direction. But since you're coming towards the 3, you need to hit that with speed so that it can actually come to the rail and come out this direction. You don't need to try to stay close to the 3 there. Wow, he went for that early 9.
Yeah.
Shot it kind of fast.
And this will be a tough shot because you got to play that. If he's playing it into the side, then he's got to play it in a manner to where he can get to this rail or maybe even graze the 7 to get out here for the 4.
Yeah,
I think it does go to the corner as well, but much tougher shot, much tougher movement you got to put on the cue ball as well.
Yeah, I think he'll fire this in the side, and it's a small pocket coming from this angle. But he drills it. It was a great shot.
It was. Because like I said, it was a small pocket, and it just so happens to be that line that cue ball seems to find no problem when it comes off the bottom or top rail.
See, and this 4 ball here is one I'd usually play with like some outside English, maybe even a little bit of low left, come this direction, down for the 5. But he's bridging next to that 6, and the right side of the cue ball is open. So he might be playing this with a kill English, some right-hand English to come down this direction 1 rail. Just because he's got the stroking room for it, Oh, he's just going to make the 9 early.
Well, that works, and that gets him to the hill.
Yeah.
So basically, he gave himself the best options there because, even if it doesn't make that 9, then the cue ball would come out and give him a good look at the 5 ball. So he was going to be okay either way.
Yeah, and he might have did that different, like I was saying, bridging next to the 6 and with room to stroke. He's bridging on, he's stroking to the right of the 6 ball, and that 6 ball is taking away a little bit of the left side of the cue ball, I think. So if he had full room to stroke with that cue ball, he probably wouldn't have done that. He would have probably played the natural left-hand English shape out this way and just ran out.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there because I like the 2 rail shape. But I think you're 100% right. That's, cueing next to the 6 ball there, he was going with English that he could stroke without any interference or any thoughts. And that would have been the right English. And then he hit that like money.
Yeah, Billy had a good break here. Made some balls. Everything's pretty open. He's just got one tough shot to start with the 1 ball, but he might be playing a safety off of it instead. And he's not going to like it. If he was going to, if you're going to play the safety like that, I like changing your angle a little bit and drawing the cue ball down into this area and letting that 1 ball come around in here.
Yeah, because, him missing that safety there is probably going to cost him the match. But I expect SHUCHENG to get out here. With everything out in the open, it's just a matter of pocketing balls. He's definitely fully capable of doing that. So,
yep.
Looks like his trouble, he might have will be from the 5 to the 6. And so, he might just play that short side, pocket that 4, and just sit there with a little bit so he has that little angle, play the 5, and then come up this way.
Yeah, just do like a little stop shot and leave the cue ball right in this area.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and it looks like that's what he's thinking as well.
And, you want to shoot this with a little bit, I would shoot it probably just center high, maybe even a little bit of right English. You don't want that cue ball at that angle to carry towards the 8. You want to have it come out this direction. Even if it hits the 7, you're good, but you want to have it come out this way. Oh, and he hung the ball again.
Yeah, that's big because you look at where the cue ball ended up. It was stop shot, a little bit of moving the cue ball there and then win the game.
And but Billy looks like he's going to kick here because he's hooked.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. From this spot here, I think I might try to just dig into this cue ball a little bit because you can rail first it from hitting anywhere in here.
And doing the rail first will allow the cue ball to come this way.
Yeah, especially if you're using a little bit of a masse. Wow, he's just done. I don't like that at all.
I don't like that either, especially with 5 balls on the table. I mean, clearly